Hello, good afternoon. This is Paul Lennon telling the story of his recovery from the Legion of Christ, Regnum Christi Federation, or whatever it is called today. And this is tape number 32 of my English reading of my autobiography. A naive and sentimental Dubliner in the Legion of Christ. Now I am out of the Legion of Christ, so it's after the Legion of Christ, leaving and recovering. And this little short, hopefully, is going to be called um, New England Flower and Shrub Therapy. I ended the last one with nature therapy, and I got carried away remembering how that beautiful uh, Maryland springtime had been so healing for me, and I started remembering the lovely flowers that were springing up all around me during spring. And I mentioned the crocus, and see if you can see this. This is what I was referring to, that lovely carpet of, excuse me, the carpet of crocus, which is so wonderful, so healing. I think the color also is healing. That color is healing. Now, I'm going to show also to the Spanish speakers this one here, which is a close-up of the flower. And in the flower, you can see the yellow uh, pistils, stamen, or I think they're called. Forgive me. Uh, where which are the yellow, and I believe that is the saffron, which cooks are so excited about, and it's precious and it's expensive because I think it's harvested from the flowers. So keeps you thinking. But so your powers of observation, please, is all healing. Then of course I mentioned, what are these? Now when you see the daffodils are almost wild. They're wild. There's a field of daffodils leading to an old farmhouse or something like that. Now that is as they say, we have a very Irish expression, a sight for sore eyes. That's what we say when we meet a friend after a long time. Now you're a sight for sore eyes, up close and personal. That's the daffodil up close and personal in all its splendor. So daffodils have long been considered the heralds of spring. Planted in autumn, they spend several months developing roots before the flowers burst forth in spring. They can be planted in borders and containers. And as you see there, they're beautiful in the fields. This is beautiful. Now, what else do I want to say? What other? Oh, yes. I mentioned the forsythia, and I didn't know how to explain it to you. And I've just found out that I was thinking of the little forsythia bush, we might say, and that excuse me, the shoots go up in this direction. The, the, the little, speaking and thinking in Spanish now, forgive me. Um, you can see it here, maybe myself. This here is very beautiful. It seems very natural. It's not. I mean, it's. And this particular one, it seemed to me like this is kind of like a blonde girl with kind of like her hair is all out of shape here, kind of like wild. Her hair is wild, wild blonde person, and that's that beautiful forsythia. Now, the one that I got very enamored of was the dogwood. There again, I think there's a lot of species, probably all over the United States. I believe from the north to the south. I believe there's a Texas dogwood too. So it's a very American, very American flower. Excuse me, tree. Um, Bush, I should suppose you could call this. No, it's a small tree. And this is what I remember of the dogwood. So I have my own image of the dogwood. What I found, um, the kind of dogwood I saw around the house where I was living, the rectory there in Bethesda, Maryland, uh, I was kind of fascinated by the way the branches went out almost horizontally to the ground, like that. They were like tears. And this particular one I'm showing you here, it seems to be rather white. Now the dogwood comes in several colors. This seems to be a white one. Now, the other one that's particularly beautiful is going to be this colored one. I'm going to show you the flowers here. This is it's a totally alluring color. Beautiful. Now there your eyesight basically is doing the healing. Before we are usually healed through our five senses uh, initially because that's how ideas get into our brain. At least we have to hear something, right? So five senses. I think it's Thomas Aquinas who says that, or Aristotle, that nothing. What does he say? Nothing is in the intellect which has not somehow being in the senses. Forgive me, little philosophical thought. This is a more artistic one. I think it's by a Japanese photographer. This is a white, as you can see here, the color, another dogwood. This is now a larger, you might say, a larger tree. So my dogwood is going to be the what is it called? The belle of the ball. This is white, I think, too. So you can see there are many shapes and forms of the dogwood. This is kind of like uh, uh, very spontaneous, uh, very serendipitous, and but it's still kind of parallel to the ground. The color here, I might imagine that this is there's a kind of a cream color. Now that is quite exquisite. Okay, look if you're around that neck of the woods, shall we say, the cream. So the one I'm thinking of, I think there's a very white, almost snow white uh, species. There's a cream one which is very, very, very fine, very delicate cream color. And then, of course, there is the very attractive strawberry blonde. I don't know. Now this is the pink. This is the belle of the ball. It seems to be a larger tree than some of the others we've been looking at. But this is, a little bit of heaven. Give me a break. Now I'm going to read a little poem I have for you today. So everything is simple today. I think I've covered everything. Winter was turning to spring, and I relished the gradual budding of a variety of flowers and shrubs in my leisurely strolls. I became a self-taught expert on the stages of spring in the Washington area: crocus, daffodil, the stages, forsythia, azalea, because I didn't show you the azalea because everybody knows azalea, and there is an azalea that grows in Guatemala too. They call it the Mexican azalea. I think it has less thorns. the dogwood, and of course, then in that area there is the cherry blossom, which is also very exquisite. So, little poem here, strange little thing which I composed a long time ago. It refers to the that pinky dogwood, and the poem is called Enigma. Enigma. Wearing pink or salmon? Fleeting, bewitched thing. Are there two shades of you? Or am I simply hooked? Or you're making me confused, keeping me on my toes with that change of clothes, needing a closer look, keeping me dog guessing. Bye bye. Until the next time, we're on the path to recovery. Happy days are here again before I enter the Legion. Who said I'm a bitter old man? Please, more respect.